What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz, and just like that, we back with another one. All right, y'all. So, some of y'all did the intro with me just now, but yet you didn't record yourself. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and record yourself doing the intro, and make sure you send it to me. Instagram, Facebook, post it on TikTok, and tag me. Anywhere you can post this video, YouTube, anywhere, post a video, tag me in it, or send it to me. And we're going to do a live reaction right here on this channel of us reacting to you guys doing my intro. And whichever one is the best, we're going to pick it live. We're going to pick a winner. One of you lucky guys is going to receive a prize pack full of stuffed goodies. Talking t-shirts, beanies, caps, pullover, whatever, stickers, I don't know, beard oil, whatever. I might even have you pick what it is that you want. You tell me once we pick the winner. Yeah, make sure you do the intro. Send them to me. People have been sending me the intros. I'm trying to collect enough so that we can do this. I need at least 10. That's all we need is about 10 of them. You know what I'm saying? So then that way you have a hey, look, I'm telling you, if you do this, you're going to have a pretty good chance of winning because not many people are doing it. So you're going to wait. You're going to wait it out. But I'm collecting. Y'all, this is Alien Tomb and alloy artifacts found in Russia? Oh, so the aliens visited Russia, duh. Okay, this should be interesting. How the government always trying to put stuff on Russia when it comes to these UAEs. It's a strong possibility that maybe the Russians got in contact with some extraterrestrial life forms and they put them onto some stuff. Help them build these UAEs that we hear of and see. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go. We'll have the link to the original down in the description box.
In 1973, Erich Anton Paul von Däniken would publish a book that would change the world. Because of this publication, Erich is thought of as the pioneering advocate of the ancient astronaut theory.
Okay.
He was solely responsible for bringing the ancient alien hypothesis to public attention. His book, Gold of the Gods, included extensive research regarding a lost and very ancient city buried beneath most of Ecuador. In the book, he would detail talks with a man known as Janos Juan Moritz, a figure who had managed to extensively explore the abandoned ancient underground tunnel systems. The entrance to this forgotten world is entered through the Cueva de los Teos, the Teos Cave. While exploring, Janos claimed to have stumbled across a secret passage which led to rooms filled with mounds of golden jewels and coins, and a golden sarcophagus placed within an intact ancient metallic library, containing books made from a strange metal. Janos's research suggested that the golden fortune, along with the sarcophagus and metallic library located within the artificial tunnels, had been placed there by a lost civilization with the help of extraterrestrial beings. Did Janos Juan Moritz actually stumble upon an ancient alien tomb, a tomb which had managed to survive many thousands of years without being disturbed? Not only were the claims within von Däniken's book taken seriously, they resulted in the most expensive cave exploration ever undertaken.
Y'all, this just has me thinking about the possibilities, right? What if there are ancient aliens and they once came down and they interacted with mankind and they left some clues for us to know that they came, but it was up to us to decipher these clues in order to understand, what the message was that they were trying to put out. But they also did it in a way to where it's kind of up to us to believe whether or not they actually came, because we haven't seen any sightings of them or any real definitive evidence ever since. Because if they were down here once before and they actually interacted, that's way different than what we have been getting over the last few decades, right? Which was, or the last century, which was sightings. You know what I'm saying? Just sightings here and there, left and right, all over the place. A lot different. It's not concrete evidence.
Hall from Britain commenced upon this expedition in 1976 with the goal of finding the golden artifacts and hopefully an alien corpse. The expedition included over 100 people, including experts in a variety of fields, British and Ecuadorian military personnel, a film crew, and even former astronaut and first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong.
Oh, what?
The team also included 8 experienced British cavers who thoroughly explored the riskier of ancient tunnel systems, successfully conducting an accurate survey of the complex, producing a detailed map of the buried city. Unfortunately, little evidence of von Däniken's more exotic claims was found or remained. It is always a possibility that funded tomb robbers made it there first. It took over a year for Stan Hall to organize his team, a year which experienced a flurry of public attention directed towards what can only be described as drastically consequential claims. What's more, compounding evidence of the artifact's existence, unearthed from these exact cave systems, has miraculously been documented in the past. Not only had some of these mythical items been recovered, the artifacts had been bought and collected by a man known as Father Crespi. Father Crespi is considered a saint by some. He was born in Milan, Italy in 1891 and died in 1982. He was a Salesian monk who dedicated his life to worship and charity. He actually lived in the small town of Cuenca in Ecuador for more than 50 years. He did not have much wealth.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. But, you know, when you get a whole team together, think you're about to discover something that has already been discovered. And taking artifacts from that you might have thought you would have found as some definitive evidence, but stuff is no longer available.
But what he did have, he used to help the less fortunate. He was an avid collector of what could now be classified as impossible artifacts. He would encourage those who needed money to bring him whatever items they could find within the jungles, and he would pay them for their troubles. Although some are crude forgeries, he still paid them for their efforts. Some, however, brought to him from within these cave systems, corroborate the stories of Erich von Däniken.
Oh, look at that. A giant crown.
Not only did these particular artifacts corroborate the story, but they were often made from solid gold, exhibited language and visually illustrated culture of an as yet unknown but clearly highly developed ancient civilization.
You know, the fact that all this evidence that we're seeing from this man here, all these pictures, like, this is amazing. He died in the 1800s and we have this. It's crazy.
Collection also included several metallic books, inscribed with an exquisite unknown language. Upon Father Crespi's death, his collection was looted by unknown peoples. All artifacts of interest were replaced with obvious forgeries or simply stolen. Upon returning from their unsuccessful expedition, the lead researcher met with Janos Moritz's indigenous source, who claimed that they had investigated the wrong cave. Had the source been paid for his silence? What is interesting is the fact that the team's efforts were not entirely fruitless. Characteristics of the cave systems they explored matched that of the descriptions given by von Däniken. What's more, they actually unearthed zoological, botanical, and archaeological features, items which are unexplainable for the geographical location, unless it was visited by a group of people capable of traveling the seas far before Columbus. What do you think of the Teos Cave's legendary golden burial chamber? Was it all a hoax, or did somebody get there first?
Hey guys, now I'm sure you're already aware of the strange incident that once occurred in the small county of Roswell, New Mexico in the year 1947.
Oh yeah.
Subsequently covered up and wiped from the archives of history by the US government's Men in Black. But what many of you might not be aware of is the peculiar report made on July 15, 2008 by the Physical Sciences Department at Eastern New Mexico University in regards to an amazing discovery made at the crash site some years later by auto repairman Robert Ridge. While deer hunting in the area on the 4th of September 2004, Ridge found a chocolate-colored sandstone very close to the crash site with a remarkable worked engraving visible on its front. It has become known as the Roswell Rock, measuring 5 centimeters by 4.3 centimeters and weighing 50.78 grams, with one end twice as thick as the other. The strange pattern has beveled edges and is raised more than 1/8 of an inch up from the surface of the rock. During research attempts to decipher the pattern upon the stone, it was subsequently matched to an extraordinary crop circle, which occurred on August 2, 1996, at Liddington Castle in Wiltshire, England. The formation was made on standing wheat, yet on the rock the pattern is not raised, but beveled, making this stone seem like a matching opposite piece to an as yet unknown puzzle. Lab test results concluded that upon the back of the stone, where 3 pits were visible, was likely where larger grains had fell out over time. However, a pattern was deliberately placed on the back, found with a series of embedded calcite-like crystals in the shape of an X or cross. They also discovered the stone had a strong magnetic attraction, narrowed down to the presence of magnetite. An energy dispersive fluorescence spectrometer, or EDXRF, confirmed the presence of this strange iron material. Strangely, when magnetic influence is over the thickest end of the rock turns counterclockwise. However, when above the lower crescent and circle, the thinnest end of the rock reverses and turns clockwise. Some have concluded this is a deliberately placed riddle in the form of a clue or message. Varying clockwise and counterclockwise plant lays are a fundamental characteristic of authentic crop formations worldwide.
That's crazy to think that, something like that can be placed there by, let's say, extraterrestrials for it to only be discovered up north of 40 to 50 years later. But the characteristics of this chocolate stone, this chocolate rock, chocolate in color, is different than what materials that we know to have on this planet. So it makes you wonder and think that this could be something.
11 years on after he found it, Ridge thankfully still has the stone, which he states is in a safe deposit box most of the time. Apparently, he hasn't tried to sell it, and even agreed to allow Giorgio Tsoukalos of Ancient Aliens to do some testing on it during a 2014 special of the History Channel's In Search of Aliens. When geologist Bill Dolman suggested that Ridge allow he and Giorgio to apply a grinder to the backside of the stone in order to collect some dust for analysis, Ridge reluctantly agreed, but became clearly emotional, even tearful during the process. It would appear Ridge does in fact have a deep emotional attachment to his find, but was cooperating with the History Channel's efforts to try to learn more about it via magnetic testing,
It's fascinating.
CT scanning, and spectroscopic elemental analysis. Thanks to Robert Ridge's diligent efforts, the stone remains in existence. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
The Crystal Skulls, a set of the world's most alluring artifacts, possessing the power to create religions, snaring many a Hollywood figure with their mysticism and rumored possible alien origins. Firstly, how does one tell a real crystal skull from a fake? There are always artists capable of making and selling things that seem old, says anthropologist Jane McLaren Walsh of the Smithsonian Museum. And she should know. Walsh has seen her share of fakes. In fact, she's probably seen more crystal skulls than anyone else alive, subsequently becoming the leading academic on the subject. A stern skeptic with a ruthless ethic, only the most puzzling will convince Jane. Another major player in the skull game, according to Walsh, was Frederick Arthur Mitchell Hedges, an English stockbroker turned adventurer, who in 1943 began displaying a skull at dinner parties which he called the Skull of Doom. His daughter Anna later claimed that he had found the skull in a ruined temple in Belize during the early 1920s. However, this was later found to have been a lie. Investigations by the Linnean Society of London, a research institute specializing in taxonomy and natural history, revealed that Mitchell Hedges actually purchased his skull at auction at Sotheby's in London in 1943. How it came to be at the auction house, however, was never established. Which is unfortunate because the Mitchell Hedges skull, according to Walsh's scrupulous examination, is the only one she has ever had to reluctantly confirm as an authentic crystal skull. What's more, it is the only academically accepted original known within the public archives. Smaller than other examples, which under microscope analysis were seen to have been made using rotary drills, the Mitchell Hedges skull is a more finely crafted, yet more crudely designed example. that under the atomic microscope has shown signs of having indeed been an ancient pre-Columbian artifact, which sure enough was constructed using, quote, unknown technology.
Really?
There are, of course, many examples of crystal skulls around the world.
Yo, I haven't heard much about crystal skulls. I mean, in decades, but even then, it was like very, very little information. It wasn't much of anything other than the fact that here's a crystal skull. You know what I'm saying? But for there to be some type of origin story behind these crystal skulls is very fascinating.
And many more stories surrounding their mysterious construction. Elongated examples, stories of groups of these skulls initiating some form of energy field. Ancient laser cutting technology has also been claimed time and time again. However, we felt we would approach them from another angle, to experience the rare occasion when modern, specifically funded academic institutes buckle to overwhelming evidence, proofs given by the defeated skeptic to those who pursue nothing but the perplexing truth and a direction for study. Made from a single piece of quartz crystal, Mitchell's Skull of Doom is unquestionably an exquisite example of an unknown history here upon our planet. Regardless of beliefs, or indeed the superstitions which now surround them, there are a rare few which support the theory of lost civilization and ancient visitation.
This skull is much smaller than many and crudely carved, leading museum scholars here to believe that in a world of fakes, this one is the real thing.
Fascinating. Mystery history.
(1973) Romania. Workers near the Mur River would uncover an aluminium artifact buried with the remains of two large prehistoric mastodons. In a place known as Erd, about 35 feet deep in the sand, a metal fragment was unearthed, a fragment that would subsequently be covered up by the Romanian government for over 30 years. Ira Kohal, the deputy director of the Romanian Ufologists Association, said laboratory tests originally concluded that it was most likely an old UFO fragment, given that the substances it comprised of cannot be combined with technologies available on Earth, even to this day.
I have heard of
The
this.
artifact is now on display in the History Museum of Cluj-Napoca, with a sign saying, "Origin still unknown." The Archaeological Institute of Cluj-Napoca, who examined it, found it to be made of an alloy of aluminum encased in a thin layer of oxide composed of 12 different elements. It is 89% aluminum covered by a thick oxide layer. The thickness of this layer is said to be confirmation of the object's immense age. Many skeptics have attempted to explain the artifact away as an elaborate hoax, yet none seem to be able to explain how. Even more interesting is the fact that recently in Russia, a very similar aluminum artifact has been discovered embedded in a lump of coal.
A lump of coal. I don't know, man. This is interesting because they said it's majority aluminum, but it has all these other metals or elements combined in it as well. And it's like, okay, wouldn't that mean that here we were able to combine all these elements together to create what looks like is something that's unknown or foreign? I don't know. Because it would almost just have you think that extraterrestrials or beings from other planets or dimensions have access to some of the exact same materials that we do, or it could be that maybe they came down with some of their materials and combined it with some of our materials to create these these things.
Lighting the fire during a cold winter evening, a resident of Vladivostok found a rail-shaped piece of metal embedded in one of the pieces of coal. Mesmerized by his discovery, the responsible citizen decided to seek help from scientists of Primary region. After the metal object was studied by the leading experts, the man was shocked to learn about the assumed age of his discovery. The metal detail was dated at 300 million years old, and the scientists suggest that it was not created by nature but was rather manufactured by an intelligent force. This fragment has been found to be made of a similar composition to the Wedge of Erd. Are these artifacts proof of visitation by aliens to our planet? Or maybe revealing of our own advanced history? Hopefully one day their mysterious origins will be understood.
All right, so he stated that this metal had to be manufactured over 300 million years ago by an intelligent force. We didn't have those capabilities 300 million years ago. I don't even think we were around 300 million years ago. So does this mean that it's a possibility, if their math is right on the age of this metal here? It's a possibility that maybe a life form came to our planet and used our metals or resources at one point and was able to create something like this. But how could they have done that without leaving behind any evidence? I know y'all might look at this and think, oh, well, this is evidence right here. But I mean, evidence of the equipment that they used to manufacture this. I don't know, y'all. There's so many questions, because that definitely looks manufactured. Like, look at the edges of it, look at the straight lines here. And but if he really dated it to be this old, I don't know what to think. This is amazing though. Y'all leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. See ya.